We are truly living in unprecedented times. Never before in history have you been able to work on a problem. I even say specifically a knowledge working problem, especially software, with so much leverage. And the reason I'm saying this is because if you've been following it all, there's been a bunch of manual work I've been doing, and every time I get into the zone of doing manual work, I start questioning or forgetting that I should be removing myself from the loop as much as possible. Don't get me wrong, there's still times I called for it. The work I did of last week I don't think is one of those situations that I could have gotten out of. But when I come back to this agent first approach, me out of the loop approach, how can I instruct the agent to do the job better than I can? I am almost always surprised. And then this is magnified by the fact that every 3 months there's a new frontier model that just blows my mind. I know I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now. I'm really selling it, but I don't think this is hype. Like I really, really don't. Let me just share a little bit of what I actually was able to do. I don't feel like sharing my screen necessarily because then I'd have to learn how to actually control this Streamlabs and click other buttons and stuff. All I need to show you is that it's going up to the right. These are the evals. This is Brain Trust, and I've been a lot of last week I was working on the manual confirmation of the fact that these scores were valid scores. They're scoring what I wanted, and then I had Claude Code come up with I think 4 scores itself. And then now that I had the evals established, I just went over the last 24 hours over how I could rework my entire agent loop or workflow to a more pure agentic approach. And I did. And these, starting here, is where this is the full agentic approach. All these, or I think it actually might have been here. All of these going up and to the right is because I swapped to a more agentic loop. What does that mean? Earlier, I had a workflow that I thought how I wanted to approach the problem best of creating new like homework problems, let's say. And it was doing a couple steps, then I'd use an LLM here, I'd use an LLM there. But this approach was give the LLM the tools, give it the context, and prompt it with a good enough prompt to just get the job done, and then add deterministic guardrails around its output. And this is what you get. It is incredible. The time is now. If you have even an inkling of something you want to build, and you haven't coded a lot, or like outside of work on a side project, or maybe the place you work at doesn't use a lot of LLMs like Cursor or Windsurf or Anti-Gravity or Claude Code or Codex, I highly, highly encourage you to just try it and really test it. Try to push the boundaries of what the agent can do. And this doesn't mean, to tie back to yesterday, this doesn't mean just say go make an app, but talk to it as if it's another person. Like, how do you want the app to look? How do you want it designed from an architecture perspective? What should the user flow look like? And have a long conversation, build up the context, add design documents, add design diagrams, and then just let it rip. And it is never ceased to impress me whenever I do that. Yeah, it's incredible. I'm going to end there. If you're interested on like more of the like developments of this app, I'll continue posting stuff. But right now, just working on these evals. Just swap to the agentic loop. I have to update test now and unit test because super important part about being able to really trust an agent. You need to have really comprehensive test in your code base. Like if you're trying to push things to production, it's not just like an experiment. So that when you change things, you know other aspects of your app aren't breaking. So I'm going to take this agent loop, make sure it's well tested, but the evals test the output in a way that unit tests just have a hard time doing when you're talking about a lot of data samples. So yeah, that's it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow.